Hey, so what I'm going to show you today is how I go through the process of creating AI generated landing pages pretty much for any project. So as long as I've gone through the process of understanding my avatar, who I'm targeting, I have an idea of the offer, it's very easy to create an AI landing page. Now, I've been using landing page builders for the longest time, going all the way back to creating things in WordPress back in 2009. And the thing about the landing page builders is you need to put the effort into creating them, even if you've got a great design. So you could pay a designer and that person will construct something that looks really good, but then you have to recreate it, or you pay a designer and developer to design it and then put it into your content management system, whether that's WordPress, whether that's ClickFunnels, whether that's Unbounce, Go High Level, whatever it is. And that once it's there, it's easy to then create multiple copies of that and make edit. But I'm going to argue that not only does AI make it faster and easier to create the landing page, it's so much easier and faster to make the edits as well, because you don't have to go in and find the element, make the change and save it. You can just tell the AI what to do. So I'm going to show you my process as it is right now. I use two AI builders for my landing pages. I'm going to focus on one of them today, and that app is called Lovable. I also use another app called Replit. The reason I'm going to show you this in Lovable is because this is where all of my client work is currently done. I actually do my own personal landing pages and development in Replit. So right now, this is Lovable. I'm not affiliated with them. I probably should because I promote them so much. But essentially, you can just tell it what you want. So you can come in here and say, create a landing page for this, or create an app, or whatever it is. You can do all those things. But my process is that when I'm building out something, I want to make sure that the AI, it can do the design work and can do the build work, but I want to make sure that the AI has enough context of what to build. So I'm doing this for Country Proud USA right now. They've got decent landing pages, typical kind of ecom landing pages, something that you might find on WooCommerce or Shopify or anything else. The problem I find with these landing pages is these are designed for people who are most aware in your funnel. So if someone's, let's say for example, let's say no one's heard of this brand before, and we run an ad and say, hey, here's a really cool metal art piece and you should buy it and it's amazing and things like that. And then you kind of land on this page, we're going straight for the kill. We're saying, hey, pickable circle metal art, 2 reviews, $70, and it's very functional. The fact that we start off with tell us what kind of configuration you want suggests that you're ready to buy. And the majority of people, especially on Facebook ads and YouTube, where you're advertising top of funnel, your ad may have done a good job to get someone to click from your landing page, but you've still got work to do. It's like saying, hey, come and visit our store in person. And as soon as that person walks in, you're like, hey, have a look at this pickleball circle metal art. What do you want it in black? Do you want it in red? No, I just wanted to see a range first. I just wanted to see the material, the quality, and things like that. So like I feel often at times we get the priority wrong in terms of how we need to be presenting our offer. So I'm going to create 2 landing pages just to demonstrate this process here today. The first landing page I'm going to create is a replication of the homepage. This is more of a generic homepage, and we can have different products and offers here that we can promote. And the second one's going to be a product specific page just to give you a range and an idea as well. So I'm going to start off here and say, I want to create an e-commerce landing page. The page will be designed like an advertorial. Now this is really important because from my experience with e-commerce, when we create something that is a sales page, so this is a sales page, it's obvious, and we're kind of showing our hand straight away and saying, hey, come and buy this thing that we've got. Yes, obviously we want to sell, but when you're playing with meta ads in particular, the user may not be ready to take action. So we need a bridge page in order to introduce them to our brand and our product and our offer, and then get them interested in buying. One of the best uses of kind of landing page structure and design is an advertorial. An advertorial looks like an information page, it looks like a blog page, but really it's a sales page. And this works with any niche. I've made it work with so many different niches. So we're going to show you how that kind of works here. So I want the page to be designed like an advertorial. I will, in fact, attached is the brand logo. So I'm going to get the brand logo now. So let's just open image in new tab. Okay, I would prefer a larger one. I wonder if there's a... And I'm showing you this on the fly just to show you the process, because this is how I go about doing this. It doesn't look like there's a bigger logo, so we'll just save that. It's all good. And then we will attach that there. Attached is the brand logo. Please adhere, stick to the brand colors based on the logo. Because by the way, AI can see the colors and stuff inside the code and however it does it and things like that. So we're going to go back to the home page. So one of the things I do is when I am working with different clients, I create an avatar or a list of avatars so that I know who I'm speaking to. So really, I want to be able to use that to create ad copy and create ideas for hooks, angles, things like that. For example, we've got this holiday gift buyer. If I have a look at that, it's all broken down and I have a process that creates this. And probably 2-3 years ago, we'd have done it manually. Now we do it through AI. This is very easy. Create ads, create an avatar, describe the audience, describe the offer, and it will spit out a result similar to what I just showed you. So what I do is, and I just copied it there. I might have just done that without you noticing. I'll do that again. Go into our avatar, holiday gift buyers. I'm just copying basically this. What this does is it breaks down who they are and what they'd be interested in, some emotional triggers to buying, some functional reasons, objections, and kind of where they are and what they're looking for and things like that. I've covered this in previous videos, but what I want to do here is to make sure that the AI understands who I'm targeting this page for. Please adhere to that. I will provide for you 2 additional things. The first is my ideal customer avatar, and the second is existing landing, or I'll just put home page copy, which you can reuse and use as a base. So what I'm saying to the AI here, and I'm going to paste so here's the avatar. So I'm just going to paste that. And then I'll put 2. Here's the existing copy, and I'll add that as well. So what I'm saying is, look, I want you to think about who we're selling to and you reuse, because the thing is it will pick up on the wording that the brand is currently using as well. So it will pick up on all of the copy here. So I'm going to paste that in here. Oh, sorry, we've gone. So existing copy. So I'm just going to leave that as it is, just to show you. Basically, I just did select all and copy on the page, and it works in 99% of cases. Sometimes the landing page is too light, and then I kind of end up going into the About Us page. So I think if I go to About Us here, I think this is probably a lighter About Us page than many others, so that's fine. I'm going to let there are a few things I would add, and I think they'll come up as we do this, but I'm just going to show you the fastest way to get going. Although I've been talking for about 5-6 minutes, this is all you need. I want to create an e-commerce landing page. Page will be designed like an editorial, attaches a brand logo, adheres to the brand colors. I'll provide for you 2 additional things, and that's it. So I've pasted it. So I'm now giving all that to the AI, and it will probably take, give or take, 1 or 2 minutes to produce that. So while it's doing this, it will go through a process of structuring its thoughts. So the way the AI is looking at this is it's looking at the request. It's then turning that into kind of its own brief. So if you imagine, if I sent this to a developer or a designer, they'd probably come back with questions. So the AI, it won't necessarily come back with questions, but it's asking that of itself. So if I do show all, it's doing some stuff here. So it's read the upload, it's thought, and in that thinking process, 5 seconds is a long time for AI. It's thought about the requirement. It's gone and said, what is an advertorial? What is this avatar? Who are we targeting? What's the existing copy? One of the things I could have done, and this is something I've done in the past as well, is you can actually take a screenshot and just share it with the AI, and it will read what you've got and it could base it on that. I didn't want it to do that for this particular one because I just want it to think completely separately. But you can, for example, there are Chrome extensions, for example. I think I use one called Go Full Page. You can just click that, take the full screenshot, and you can drop that in and say, here's the landing page I have right now. I want to, you could say I want to keep elements, I want to remove elements, things like that. So for example, when I copied the copy and I send that to the AI, it has no knowledge of these images. So what it comes back with, I might look at that and say, I like this image, we should edit that image and things like that. What I would actually do is I would just come in here and say, look, copy this image, let's use this, whatever it is, just to make the homepage experience more relevant as well. So let's see what it's coming back with. And by the way, Lovable, the way it works in the background, it uses the AIs that you probably use day to day. So I think this one uses a mix of Gemini and ChatGPT in the background, so OpenAI. But what it's doing is layering in the things that you would want to ask it. So this AI has been programmed with how to code websites and all the kind of design and tech stuff, but it also hosts the website for you as well. So when it's building this, you can come into this preview when it's ready, you can have a look, you can publish it and get a public URL. You can also add a custom domain, and that's what I end up doing when you're building landing pages. For example, let's say countryproudusa.com. I'm going to send this landing page to them. If they decide to use this, it's very easy for them, and I'll show you how, to take that into their own Lovable account and then create a domain name for it. So in most cases, it would be something like page. So you take out the www, you can set up a domain. So it'd be page.countryproudusa.com, for example, and that would point to this brand new page. So that's something which allows you to, let's say for example, this is on Shopify. I can't remember if it's Shopify, but let's say this is on Shopify and you're like, I like this design, but it's going to be quite a lot of work to put it into a Shopify store. Actually, you don't have to, because what ends up happening is you could host this on a completely different subdomain. So I don't know if pages would be the right one. It could be offers.countryproud.usa.com. You send your traffic to this page, it goes to this page, and then from here you can link to your own store and things like that. So if we look at what it's actually done, it's not actually delivered what I want, but it's actually a good design. Stunning advertorial-style e-commerce landing page, patriotic color palette, editorial typography, smooth transitions. There's a hero, and it's got a breakdown of what it's created. It's self SEO optimized. This is really important, not just for search engines, but also for Meta as well. Responsive design, that's all good. I can have a look at the different formats. So what does it look like on mobile, desktop, smaller device, and all those kind of things. So I think in the end, maybe it took about 3-4 minutes in the end, but essentially it's come back with something I actually really like. So if you compare that to what we've got right now, this is a very standard looking Shopify store. This for me has impact. So holiday special, the gift that speaks from the heart, how a family in Louisiana is helping thousands create meaningful memories with handcrafted metal art. So as a landing page, that's pretty good. So I like this. It's actually being put together quite well. I don't know where it's got this art piece from. I imagine it's probably just from stock. And I would go to the client and say, just send us something to put here, or maybe just pull out something from here. I don't necessarily think that's the best image for this particular design. When generic GIFs just won't do, you've been there standing in the store aisle, scrolling through endless websites, searching for the perfect gift. Now, this copy and these kind of pain points and angles and all you see here came from the avatar. So when I pasted in the avatar, that's what kind of led the structure of the copy and the style of copy and the actual copy that's been included. So all the pain points, the concerns that prospects might have, they've all been included here. So for example, why country proud, 100% American made, family owned, custom personalization, all those kind of things have been built from the avatar, which is cool. Okay, that's all good. So these actually look really cool. I don't know if that would necessarily be something that the brand could create. And some of these names, it looks AI generated, so it's kind of got the names wrong, so that's something I'd replace. Personalized just for you, premium American craftsmanship, built to last, ready for any space, browse all designs. The links don't go anywhere right now. Gifts that leave lasting impressions. It's pulled out some reviews. Give a gift that will be treasured forever. So I like this as a landing page for a generic, like for me, I would replace the homepage with this. That's just my opinion, and not to put down the existing design, but from what I would have as a homepage for the brand, this speaks to me a lot more. Like this feels more impactful. So in order to make this functional, you would go to publish, custom domain, and go through the process. I'm not going to go through that right now. It's pretty much step by step, and you can follow the process that they've got. You can also publish. Now, If I click on this little arrow here, I can preview it in my browser. So here I'm in this Lovable project section. Here is now in the browser. So you can see it properly without all the things on the side. So that's one thing. However, if I want to publish it, I can click the publish button. This will publish it, and I'm going to publish it to anyone in the link. I guess if you see the link, you can view it and hopefully buy some products from Laura's ecom store as well. So that will now publish it to a domain that's linked to my project name. Now, I didn't select the project name, Proud Hearth Craft Lovable.app. Like, I didn't necessarily select that. You can edit that, and you can edit the domain. I'm just going to put country Proud USA test. I'm going to put test just in case Laura wants the actual proper URL. Okay, so let's have a look at that. So I think that's, did that do it? I don't know if it's saved. So if I change this to country Proud USA test and then tick, then that should do it. Cool. So now if I do publish, and where's my link? Yep, that all looks good. Okay, no, I don't need that security. So now if I click that, so now this is, I've seen people do this. They use this URL as their kind of marketing URL. You can use it. It's not the most professional, but it just allows you, let's say, for example, like this is a development link. If you're like, let's say I was working with a client, I would be working within Lovable and doing this. I might share this. And in fact, this is what I've done to say, here's the working version of your website. And by this point, I'd have updated the images and links and things like that. And then you can send that to a client, for example, or someone in your team and say, here's the working draft, what do you think? And then when you're ready, you can hook it up to your domain name, and you can leave it you can leave it here. Like, it will, Lovable and Replit, they'll host your websites for you. It just takes out the stress of then, right, how do I get this onto a web host? How do it does all that configuration for you. And I think over time, it's going to be the kind of the death of doing things the old way with content management systems, because this is so much easier and faster. For me to get this page designed, and you can argue whether you like it or not, maybe let me know in the comments. I genuinely like this. I think this is a really good design for a homepage. There's a few things I might tweak in terms of it's taken my logo, which is obviously from here. It's matched the brand colors. So it's pulled out the blues and reds naturally. I think it's done a good job, and I'm quite happy with that. Now, in order to get things working here, you can do some visual edits and say, I'm going to click on this link, and let's say shop holiday collection. Let's see if there is actually a holiday, holiday season art. Let's do Merry Christmas. So let's take that URL, and I've just clicked that link and say link to that. And that's as fast as it is. Now, honestly, if you're in a content management system, Go High Level, ClickFunnels, whatever it is, you'd have to click that. It will pop up some kind of screen. You find the area that you drop the URL, and you're like, okay, I'm going to save that and things like that. It doesn't take long, so don't get me wrong. This is not like a massive time saver. But when you're working on multiple things, this is just so much faster to just get things done. So now, it's done the link there, and it's just loaded that up. See custom design. So like you can go through and drop links. You can also say, for example, I don't know if there's any video on the site. No, that's what you can do, which I would do, is also just drop video in. So you can just say, for example, I might find, let's say here, and I might, in fact, we could just do it as a example. Swap this for a video of a family enjoying evening dinner. We'll just say that, for example. Like, I just want to show you an example. You would get your video, you'd host it maybe on YouTube or something else, and just drop the link in, and it's an example of what you can do. This isn't necessarily what I'd be using, but I just want to show you how easy it is to actually get your videos added. If you have one, it's always good to have video. And it's the same with the images as well. So I'm just going to, I like that image. Let's actually swap this one out once this one's done. So your project is being updated. So while it's doing that, I'm just going to find another image that we can drop in to here. So that's a good image, but we've got this in the front as well. Let's see. Oops, that's added mine to cart. Didn't want to add to cart. Is this one? Open image in new tab. Okay, that's a cool image. So I'm going to save that just as an example, and we could just drop it in here. So is this update done? Where's my update? Not sure if it's actually, okay, it says it's done it. Let's just refresh. Okay, so it didn't actually. So I'm going to show you again, like how you can also do troubleshooting. So I'm going to take a screenshot of this and say the original image is still there and there's no video. So you just paste that in. This is another way, and it's good, I guess it came up, that you can just get it to fix it. So I can go back and say, you said you did this, and I actually had a look at the code. It looks like it did it, but for some reason it's not showing it. So we can just do that. So while it's doing that, what was the other image I was going to change? In fact, we could maybe do it with I like this header, but I'm just going to change the header just for the sake of showing the example here as well. Because I think this image actually fits in with this text, so I wouldn't necessarily change that because I think this is quite good. Okay, there we go. I don't know what this video is, and I think it just ends up pulling out something from somewhere, but as a placeholder, just showing you the demo of dropping a video in there. Now I'm going to say replace the hero header background image with the one attached. Where's my image? I think it was this one here, and go. So again, like replacing this image, if you're in a content management system, you have to find the element and do stuff. At times it is a bit slower with AI, but it just does it for you. So let's just see how, if it gets this one right straight away. So there you go. So the GIF that speaks from the heart, not as visually appealing as the last image, but that's okay because I would always try and defer back to colors that the brand owns. But let's say, for example, we did do that and we didn't like it. You can actually revert that back. The last change is update the hero background image. I'm going to go back and revert to this. So this was the previous version. Restore this version, revert. So that now, let's say I did make a mistake and I'm like, I didn't really like that image. I prefer this one because of the colors. Then I can go back and make that change. And that's pretty much it. So that's the creation process. Now, although I like this, I'm going to go back and say pretty much that. Although I like this page design, now create a product specific version. And let's say we're going to go back and find something. Let's go to featured. I wonder what the top sellers are. I don't really know. I wonder if they're on the home page. Let's go with this one. So if I copy that, so although I like this page design, now create a product specific version to replace my existing product page. So this is now another example. However, I want this layout to be a true advertorial in the sense of looking like a blog written by an interior designer sharing their advice and guidance on wall decor. Let's just put it like that. Ask me any questions. This is important as well because it won't always come back. Ask me any questions to help you. Now here's another thing. So a lot of these tools, if you type something in, it will just go and do the thing and you might not want it to straight away go and kind of make the change. Most of them have this feature where you can just say chat. So it won't actually do anything until you uncheck the chat button. So this allows you to have a chat. Let's just see what it comes back with. So it'll take that brief, it will do its thinking process and say, what are we doing? And you don't always have to ask it to ask you questions. Sometimes it will do it itself, but I specifically want to make sure it understands. So an interior design blog. So which product is this for? One, it's for this product that I shared. I can see this typo, but we'll figure it out. Product images, do you have high quality lifestyle photos showing the piece, or should I plan for placeholders? I guess I have these. Let's go back. In fact, let's just drag this over, it'll be so much easier. Images attached that you can use. In fact, I'm just going to say you can pull the images from the page I shared. Like, you should be able to do that. I don't need to provide it. Interior designer, persona, what style should the designer represent? Modern farmhouse expert. Let's just do this. Okay, we'll put expert home decor influencer. Tone, warm conversational. Let's put warm and conversational, like chatting with a friend, with an enthusiastic designer. Wait, warm and conversational, like chatting with a friend, with enthusiasm. Let's change that for design and inspiration in the home. I think that sounds good. Content structure, does this sound right? So hook, common wall decor mistake problem, designer's story credentials. So let's take that and review that. So what I showed you before is a very quick way of creating a landing page, and what I came back with wasn't exactly what I wanted. And I'm showing you now, use AI to kind of structure your thoughts as well. So this process is helping me to actually structure how I want the format. So use this format. And AI isn't just about speed. Like, it's not just, can I do something in 10 seconds? If I was going to brief this to a designer and then get a developer and stuff, you're talking about 3 to 5 days to properly design it, give all the feedback and things like that. So we're cutting down 3 to 5 days or more of work and at least $1,000, probably more, to actually design and implement this. I'm doing it faster, cheaper, and I think better as well. Hook, common wall. No, so I wouldn't want the hook to be a common wall. I think it's breaking out from bland holiday gifts to something unique and memorable. Let's take that hook here. Breaking out from bland holiday gifts to something unique and memorable. Designer story credentials, educational content about, I wouldn't put patriotic wall art. So it is about wall art and the impact on home life. Natural product introduction is the solution. Styling tips with the product, social proof, soft CTA to shop, and let's send them somewhere. If we're doing this kind of landing page, then you could literally just send them back here. So that would be, you can, if you want, you can code it so it goes straight to the cart, but because there's configurations here, it would need a bit more to get that configured so it goes straight to cart. So we just go back here. What are the questions? Purchase integration. Should the page include full product customization options? Just use a shop now for now. And cool. So I've given that off. Now I need to uncheck the chat. I can leave the chat on if I just want feedback, but I'm going to actually turn that off and just tell it to go and do that. In fact, I just remembered something. This is something I've made a mistake on before. So let's just put one there. Create this as a new page. Place the current one you created. So if I didn't put this, it would go in most likely and just replace what I've got here, but I don't want to replace it in this instance. So just be mindful that the AI will try and fill the gaps if it hasn't been given clear instructions. I don't want it to do that. I've told it to go and create a new page. It will do it. It'll appear here, and that means that for this, for example, I can go back and say to the client, here's a really cool landing page that I think you should consider using, and can work on tweaks and things like that. But then I'd have a product, an ad ready design experience that can be used for ads. I wouldn't necessarily send ads here. This isn't really, maybe retargeting ads can come back here. But for me, once the advertorial's done, that's where I would be focusing my ads, because the intent there is if someone's clicked an ad and it's top of the funnel, they've not heard of your brand, they may not be in the market for something, or maybe they are looking for a Christmas gift. We just want to wow them with a great idea for a gift and kind of bring them into our funnel. So that this kind of advertorial landing page will give us the opportunity to essentially work on what's known as the AIDA funnel. So attraction, interest, desire, and action. So if you think about it from an ad and a landing page point of view, attraction is your ad. It's the creative, the copy, and things like that. Interest is someone actually clicking the ad. Desire is, okay, I've now seen the landing page and I really want this product. Then action is actually clicking and actually doing something and hopefully going on to buy as well. So I created the new advertorial page. So let's have a look. Let's see what it came up with. I'm running this on the fly, so I don't know what it's going to come up with. Hopefully it's okay. Why your walls are begging for something more than generic holiday gifts. Can we talk honestly for a second? I know you love your home, etc., etc. Okay, that's cool. Hey, I'm Sarah, home decor enthusiast and wall art curator. I've spent the last decade helping families turn their houses into homes that tell their unique stories, and you know what I've learned, difference between a house and the forgotten power of your walls. Here's what most people don't realize: your walls are the largest design element in every single room, etc., etc. The right piece of wall art doesn't just fill empty space, it fills your home with meaning, sparks conversations, and reminds you daily of what matters most. So I like this approach. I think it's designed something that's pretty cool. Maybe the colors, I don't like gray backgrounds with gray text, so I would change that up. But the copy and the approach is good because remember we briefed it so much already on the avatar and it's created a page already so it understands. It's pulled out the images, which is awesome. So if I go here, I didn't need to copy, paste and put that in. I just gave it the URL and it went in, figured out what the images are because it can read the HTML and it's going to pull that through. It decided which images to pull through. So it took this as the banner, for example. Like, I think it's pretty cool. It did a good job. I don't know what the logic is in the background and maybe it lucked out. I don't know, but I think this is really cool. So really nice image at the top. The headline's cool. That's all good. That's good. So let me introduce you to where liberty dwells. There is my country. Okay, I'm going to be completely honest. When I first saw this piece, I literally stopped scrolling and I looked at Wall all day long. This isn't your grandmother's decorative design or sign. Those should probably love it too. And then we've got some influential points here. But here's what really gets me excited. You can customize it, add names, dates, or special messages. How I'd style this beauty. Living room statement, home office. So it's giving you ideas. Like, you can talk about the design and how it's laid out, and I think that it can be improved. But what it's done is, if we're running an ad for a Christmas holiday gift, yes, you can go and run it straight to your product page and test it and maybe even test versus the other homepage. But I feel like for someone who's in the market for a gift, and by the way, these price points, you're talking about $80 plus, I think. Yes, $78. Then you got shipping and everything like that. So it's not an impulse buy. So someone's going to have to think about this as their purchase. So we're providing them, like, this is a sales page. This is doing the job of what an in-store salesperson should be doing, which is, hey, have a look, here's why you should consider it, here's all the things that you can do with it, here's some features, some benefits and things like that, here's proof, ready to transform your wall, don't settle for another forgotten gift, shop now, only $70. It's actually auto linked it as well. I didn't even ask it to do that, so that's pretty cool. That's pretty much it. So like, your home tells a story, make sure it's one you're proud of. So that's pretty cool. I like that. So if I was to enhance that, for example, I'm just going to cheat here, but you could get it to do it as well. Add a footer to the new advertorial page that mimics our existing one. So I don't know if it'll just drop the image in or we'll actually just code it in, because you need, at the very least, make sure you've got privacy and terms and conditions linked from your landing page. Like, Meta will otherwise not necessarily be too happy with your landing page. So I've just asked it to replicate what's here, and it probably should just code it in. I don't think it will drop the image. Yeah, so it's editing the code here. So that's all good. Brand wise, it's missing the logo, but I'm okay with that because you don't necessarily need it, especially at the top of the page, but I would include it further down. This, in fact, once that's done, let's see how that's going. Okay, cool. So it's added the links in, and I can get that linked out and all that kind of stuff, and that's all fine. What is this at the bottom? Where did that come from? Okay, yeah, whatever. That's all fixable. I'm not going to focus on that. What I would also then say is, where's my visual editing tool? So I want to select this element. This could be so much more visual with a similar style to the existing Shopify page. I don't know if I can drop a screenshot here. So I'm just going to describe it. Show the product, price, and shop now to make it really desirable, and include the business logo too. Just see what it comes out with for this. What I'm looking for, and I maybe didn't describe it properly, is like, this as a call to action looks a lot better. So I'm looking for this to be a bit more impactful. I think the colors are a bit like they bleed in too much. The AI often ends up doing this as a design treatment, but really what we want is some kind of, it's called the Z axis. So you have X and Y. Z is depth. So you want depth on a page where certain things just stand out. So this being the main call to action, it needs more depth, it needs more Z. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better. So this isn't like the right kind of logo as well, but that's an improvement. So I'm not going to go in and polish it and make sure it's perfect, but that looks a lot better to me. That's all good. And then I would probably say, okay, good. Below that, now link to their their full collection with something like see more in this collection. So when I'm doing these kind of product specific landing pages, I don't want to give them too much choice. So you'll notice, for example, I haven't asked it to replicate the top nav. When I'm running ads, I prefer to just focus my user on the one thing that I want them to do, which is just look at this product, be convinced, be converted. So if I'm running this ad, I'd probably use this as a hook, or maybe even something like this. And my message would be something like, if you're looking for more than a gift that just gets stored this Christmas, then have a look at our recommendations as written by Sarah. And we could change this to Laura, who's the store owner, but it just allows you to talk to people in a different way. It disarms people when that you're not selling directly to them, but you're there to gift guide, essentially. So this could be also pitched as a gift guide. Here's a holiday gift guide that's more than just socks or something like that. So you can land them here, get them through to this page, sell them this, and then there's a see more here, things like that. So I'm just going to say I prefer a white background for the advertorial so we can give the page more contrast. So if we go down, I'll just put that in. We'll just see. What I was going to get it to do is just think about all the other elements and kind of what needs to be done. But I just noticed there are borders, so I don't think there's going to be too much spillover. But let's just see what it comes back with and see how that design improves or not. So I think it looks better already. So the white background has just helped the text and everything else to pick up, but it doesn't seem to have had a negative impact. Let's give Sarah a friendly face instead of the house icon, and let's give her a title of, what are we going to title her as? Oh, okay, it's already there, home decor enthusiast, and I'm going to change that to home and blogger. That will do. I think that's probably it. There are tweaks and stuff I would still make, but I think this is about 90% there. So if I look at this as an advertorial, there are maybe a few sections I would add to maybe dial up the pain or in stretch out the kind of emotion as well. And to be honest, I don't even think this is the right product to promote, just knowing what Laura's working on the brand. But just as an example, this is kind of what we've got. No friendly face for Sarah. I'm pretty sure maybe I meant to, maybe I have to write photo. Like, pretty sure I said face, friendly face instead of the house icon. You just gave it a wavy hand. Like, that's lazy. You can do better, AI. Let's see what comes back. So it's actually generating an image now. So I don't know what it uses in the background, but you see there, if I just hover over it, professional headshot portrait of a friendly female home decor blogger in her 30s, blah, blah, blah. Awesome. So that's an AI generated image. That's cool for now. Obviously, it's up to you as a brand on kind of what you use. But now it's just softening this whole thing up. So now I actually feel like that could be higher up. But it is what it is. I think it's fine. That's all good. So there you go. Like, I've created 2 pages. It's taken me about 40 minutes to create, but because I'm talking so much and I'm trying to guide you through it as well, this doesn't take long at all. Like, within 10-15 minutes, you can have multiple pages created, connect it up to the domain. I'm going to update this so I can actually check it on the main site. So that's now publishing it to this URL. I'm just going to, I don't know why it's called it Liberty Product. I mean, you can change that, but I'm going to copy that. /Liberty Product. Let's have a look what it looks like in a normal browser. Why your walls are begging for something more than generic holiday gifts. You might argue, I want the headline to be higher up, and I think that's a valid thing that I'd be looking at, but also the mobile experience is going to be quite important as well. So that's what it looks like there. If I do inspect and I look at mobile here, I think it needs to be higher up. That's one change I would definitely make, but otherwise it looks good. There's a blog advertorial sales page. I'm not going to say we nailed it, but I'd say probably 90% there. And feel free to leave a comment on what you disagree with, what you agree with. But honestly, this kind of approach to building landing pages, fast iteration for your ideas with your ads and your campaigns and different ad angles, different avatars, You can do this very fast. You can do this all day long. You don't need a designer. You don't need a developer. You don't even need a content management system. I think I'm paying like $300 a month for Lovable right now, but that's because I do so much with it. I think it's like less than $100, like $50. I think maybe even $30. You can get started with a number of these tools, Lovable and Replit. Just start practicing. Just start getting used to the whole flow of things. I do lots and lots of this kind of work for clients. I'm on a kind of higher package and I get more allowance, but you don't need that right now. You can just get started on something that's going to, whether it's your brand or for clients, just get started on this process. And by the way, if I was to go into Upwork, for example, and sell this as an offer and say, hey, I can create 5 or 10 advertorials for you in 3 days and it will cost you $500, like I'm undercutting so many people there. Even if it's $100, it doesn't cost you much. I'm not saying you should charge 100, you should charge as much as you can get clients to pay for something which is really high quality. Just one of these advertorials, someone could easily charge 500 to 1,000 just for one. If it's properly thought out, designed, and all that kind of stuff. If this was complete, I'd easily be able to pitch this for 1,000. If you're thinking about this for your own use, if you're finding ways to generate new revenue opportunities, let's say, for example, you're running ads for clients already and you say, hey, we've got a new service. We also do landing page designs now, and we can design it, build it, and publish it for you. We can connect it to a subdomain. That's a valuable service. You could now, let's say you're charging $2,000 a month for your ad service, you could add another 500 or 1,000 and say, we're going to also manage your landing pages, do analysis and optimizations there. The final thing I just wanted to note here is, in this case, for example, let's say we were delivering this to Country Proud, but we were offering them the opportunity to just take full ownership of this landing page and put it into their own Lovable account. You can actually do this right now. So I'll leave this landing page live. So Country Proud USA test.lovable.app. When you come into this, you'll notice this little thing here on the bottom right, which says edit with Lovable. When you click that, it will then load up that in. So for me, it goes back into my own projects. If you have a Lovable account, it will automatically install this in your account. Now, if you're developing stuff and you don't want that, then you go into settings and go into hide Lovable badge. You tick that, and then it won't appear on your live website. So that will get rid of this. But let's say, for example, Laura says, hey, this is really good. I do want to use this. I'd say, hey, that's cool, Laura. Go to the URL, click on edit with Lovable. Once you've set up your account, it will install this into your account. Then you'd have exactly the same as what I see here. And you can do what you want with it. You'll install these 2 pages, everything's here, and you can go and run with it. So it's a really cool way of building the frameworks and things and just letting other people deal with it. So for example, you might be someone who's running their own business, use this tool, get it 90% complete, send it to your team and say, go and finish it off. You can have a team set up inside Lovable, or you can just say, hey, go and set up in your project as well. Great opportunity to just move fast and make a lot more money as well. So hopefully that's been useful for you. Let me know in the comments any questions, any pushbacks, anything you don't agree with. But I think this is a huge game changer. I've been using it probably for about 12 months now. I've been on Lovable for over 12 months, and this is something I've been using behind the scenes for webinars, for sales pages, for client proposals, and it is super fast and super easy, and there's no reason not to be doing